All right, we got Cricket Baldwin in the house. She is a wildfire resiliency fellow. Did I get that right? With the South Lake Tahoe Fire and Rescue, and we're here to talk about hardening our homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that mean exactly? A lot of people don't even know what that means.
I know. Home hardening is the use of non-combustible materials to prevent embers from igniting your home during a wildfire event.
Okay.
So as we know, embers can travel really far in front of the flames during a wildfire, and they can ignite when they hit combustible material, whether that's something on your home or around your home in your defensible space.
Okay.
So by home hardening, you're trying to prevent those embers from causing any ignitions. A classic example is your roof. Roofs need to be an asphalt roof rather than the highly combustible wood shake roof. But the good news is that 90% of Californians already have an asphalt roof. So the majority of us have been home hardening without necessarily realizing we're doing it. But obviously there's still more that we can do with home hardening.
And so what kind of materials do you need to replace in order to harden your home? I mean, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say those wooden fences that we all have that go right up to our house. I just learned the other day about how bad manzanita bushes are, like as far as the burning, you know, they just burn really hot. So I had to remove a couple that were against my house. So what do you recommend?
So you brought up the fencing, so I'll start with that.
Yeah.
We do recommend removing the first 5 feet of fencing within your house.
Okay.
So if you have fencing that's 20 feet away from your house and it's combustible, that's all right. But if you have fencing within 5 feet of your structure, replace that with non-combustible material.
And you use the word recommend, but it's soon going to be mandated.
Yes.
Okay.
Soon going to be mandated. More to come on that as that executive order gets moving. But yeah, you can find metal fencing at some of the hardware stores. There's also synthetic wood that you can replace for fencing. But that first 5 feet, as we saw with some of the LA wildfires, the fencing, once it catches, the wooden fencing can just travel right up to your house and ignite your home from there. The other really important thing to replace is your vents. So vents are one of the easiest ways for embers to enter and ignite your house. And that metal mesh screening over your vent must be between an 1/8 and a 1/16 of an inch. So those metal mesh openings, 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch screen. There's some companies like Vulcan Vents, they create their own ember resistant vents, and you can buy those and replace your current vents with those. Or you can just buy the metal mesh screening at that specific size, 1/8 to 1/16 inch at your local hardware store and secure that over your current vents instead.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a difference between home hardening and defensible space, but they work together, don't they?
Yes, so home hardening is obviously anything related to your house, things that are on your house, and defensible space is that buffer between your house and the surrounding area. So defensible space is more so about your vegetation, having proper vegetation management, things of that sort, but they work hand in hand. They're both trying to prevent your house from igniting from embers, wildfires, and still providing a very safe place for firefighters to fight fire from when that comes into your neighborhood.
So like removing the manzanita bushes that run up right to your house, cutting down the trees, maybe laying down gravel, that's all considered defensible space. And then, you know, replacing all the combustible material that you mentioned, that's home hardening.
Exactly. And they work hand in hand, you know. There are a couple resources to look at. There's TahoeLivingWithFire.com. Under their Get Prepared tab, they have a bunch of information on both home hardening and defensible space. So you can start there and see what makes sense, what actions you can take today. There's also Wildfire Prepared through the Insurance Institute of Business and Home Safety. They have a very extensive checklist for their Wildfire Prepared certification. So you can also look there to see what you can get started with.
And I have to wrap this up, but the fire department will also come out too and examine.
Yep, we have defensible space inspections, and you can get those through our website, City of South Lake Tahoe /fire. So there you go.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Cricket, for coming in. I appreciate it. Great information.